Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm going to look at the power of targeting those promoted sides. So what I'll be doing here is I won't be doing my usual team reveal. I'll have a look back at my Game Week 27, but next week I'll do my Game Week 28 team reveal, a bit nearer to the deadline there. But this one I really want to look at those promoted sides. Are they really the sides we should be targeting? Now I know a lot of you Palmer captainers will be disappointed after targeting correctly Southampton, but you may find lots to like here because I know he blanked. So what I'll do is I'll quickly look back at some of those events in Game Week 27. I'll have a look at my plans, my tentative plans for the fixtures ahead as well. And as I said, ahead of the FA Cup games this weekend, there's no point really talking about Game Week 28 at the moment, but we'll do that next week as well. So what I'll do is I'll have a look at Game Week 27. Just before I do that, just remember, do press that like button and do remember to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Okay, so this is how I got on in Game Week 27. It wasn't a great game week. Game week rank of 7,000. I got a red arrow this time, so lots and lots of green arrows recently. Gone into the top 100k. But so I've gone down from 56k to 71k. But this red arrow could have been much worse if I hadn't have targeted a promoted side. So fittingly, I did this week. I thought West Ham against Leicester, that is a good opportunity for me. And it worked out. I mean, it could have worked out spectacularly. But I got Areola in for Pickford. Ariel is so low owned that I got pretty much all of his 6 points there, which is a really good rank boost. Bowen as well got a goal, and then it was decided it was an own goal. He only got the assist for that. Nevertheless, I'll take that. He's very, very low owned as well. So I got 12 extra points there. So without those 12 points, I would have been really low because a lot of people got. So Isak wasn't playing this week, and so a lot of people got a whole variety of players off the bench. Rodgers, Cliver, who else did I see? Salah. Some people obviously benched Salah, and they would have got Salah's bench off points. So there was a lot of bench points floating around there. For me, it was Dango, who... those that follow my videos will know that I'm full of bench points. And my first sub this time around was Dango, 2 points. Not for want of trying. He could have got a massive haul there. Did get Mikalenko 6 points on the bench, so the narrative of bench points is still strong. I don't mind that as well because I want Mikalenko to do that sort of thing when I actually need him as well. So anyway, I got Areola in for Pickford, and my other transfer was Rodgers out for Bowen because I wasn't going to play Rodgers. I guess he would have come in for Isak, but then I wouldn't have had Areola, so I would have missed out. And I'm much happy with Bowen and Areola because Areola and Henderson rotate quite well. Robinson 0 points, a rare benching there ahead of the FA Cup. Alexander-Arnold 6 points, lovely, but he could have got more because another example of the FPL in their wisdom thinking that it's a good thing to give you bonus points and then the next day take them away. I'm not quite sure that's good because my philosophy with FPL is more points good, less points bad. So if you actively do something that reduces people's points, people don't know how these bonus points are calculated. Yes, I guess it's fairer, but get it right first time, or not at all. Just say bonus points are pending. That would be even better. But to give the likes of Gabriel and Alexander-Arnold a couple of bonus points and take them away, not great. So Alexander-Arnold got 6 points. Gabriel, once again, could have got 8 points, got 7 points, reduced. Salah v Palmer, there was a lot of debate about that. Analytics were very key on Palmer. I think all of the so-called elite analytics FC captain Palmer for this one for 3 points. Salah did outscore him, not by much though. And to be fair, Palmer and Salah, I would say, were quite even going into this. I liked Liverpool against Newcastle. I'm of an age where I remember they were always 4-3 and Colin Moore would score. So that's why I went for Salah really over Palmer. I personally thought that whilst Chelsea would score a lot against them, I didn't know whether Palmer would be involved. Also, I didn't even know they would score a lot against them because Southampton's, they've actually been against Brighton, they conceded, I think, 4 XG or something like that, and did actually concede that. But they haven't actually been doing that throughout all matches. They do have a tendency to collapse, though. Brian and Bowman got me an assist, nice. Dango blank, Kuna blank, Wood blank. See, that was my problem, really. The defence really helped me out. Isak came off the bench. Howson, sorry, I keep getting called up for mispronouncing him. Howson, he got me 1 point, and Mikolenko got me that 6 points there. So I'm actually reasonably happy with that, because I had a bad game week, but I'm sort of cemented into the top 100 still, 100k still. So I like to continue that. Bowen and Areola came in because they're playing Leicester, and that's something I've mentioned in previous podcasts. Something that Andy Martin on social media has been talking about a lot. Target these promoted sides, stuff your team as much players that are playing them as possible, because they're Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton are really bad. They're really bad in different ways, but their defence is really bad. They collapse. So there's opportunities to score lots of goals against them and get clean sheets, especially against Leicester. They're really bad attacking at the moment, which is ironic, because they've got one of the best strikers there's ever been as their manager in Van Nistelrooy. So let's have a look. I just wanted to see just how bad they are. So these are the worst defences for all matches. So I've got a table up on the screen at the moment for those listening to the podcast version. It's the worst defences, all matches. And fortunately, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester are the worst. And they're the worst by some distance as well. So Southampton, their minutes per expected goals conceded every 40 minutes. They've conceded 65 goals. Their XG, they've conceded 65 goals. So they're absolutely bang on. They've only got 2 clean sheets all season. To put that in context, Liverpool have 12. Nottingham Forest have 11. Arsenal have 10. So that's putting that into context. Ipswich, pretty poor as well. Minutes per expected goal involvement, every 48 minutes they're conceding a goal. Minutes per expected goal, rather. They've conceded 57, been marginally unlucky with some of them, but their XG conceded is 53, pretty poor, only 2 clean sheets. Leicester, similarly poor, minutes per expected goals conceded every 50 minutes. Now this is interesting. So this must be down to sort of error, or some of the shots that are being taken, perhaps, according to expected stats, shouldn't go in, because their expected goals conceded is actually 52, which is just below Ipswich and considerably below Southampton. But however, they've conceded 61 goals. So there's quite a discrepancy there. So errors, I would imagine, there. So some of the shots that are being taken aren't expected to go in, but they are. They've only got 1 clean sheet. To put this into context about how bad they are, so Tottenham are the next worst. But their minutes per expected goals conceded every 57 minutes. So there's a bit of a gap there. West Ham, about the same, every 57 minutes. And also, both of those teams have got 6 clean sheets. So there's a real gap there. So I think Andy on social media and those that have been targeting these promoted sides. Now, this won't seem like amazing rocket science for people, target the worst teams, but I just wanted to see whether they really were that bad and whether that was a good technique, because we're not all doing it as well. So for example, I didn't do it this week. I captained Salah, who's playing Newcastle, much better side. Newcastle have got 8 clean sheets and they're not conceding an expected goal until every 74 minutes, so that's considerably better than Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester there. But those did go for Palmer against Southampton. So what I was looking at this as well, because there's a lot of debate going, who to captain. But I think Palmer captain has got it right, really. They got it wrong in terms of the older outcome decision argument there. But I think they were right too, because Southampton are pretty poor. The worst for expected goals conceded, the worst for goals conceded, the worst for expected goals conceded. They are really mad. And they were sort of in a bit of almost like a league of their own compared to Ipswich and Leicester. That's how bad they are. So I just wanted to have a look at some stats for Mohamed Salah and Cole Palmer. So what I've done is I've used the Fantasy Football Scout members area to go into the comparison tool there, and I filtered out all the sides except promoted sides. So this is all the Salah and Palmer. I think they played 4 each of these. So they played promoted sides 4 times. And so what I did is I then did the average number of the average stats per performance as well. just in case there was any, one played 5 times or one played 4. And this year they're broadly equal. Salah, on the whole, has got better stats, only marginally. But they're, in terms of like sort of key indicators, XG or whatever, goals, they're sort of +6 each on each other. So they're pretty strong. And they also, so Salah absolutely dominating that right-hand side, attacking side right in the box. And he's red hot in the box there. So absolutely firing it in. Palmer, he's a bit more spread out across midfield, but so he's going to be shooting from range a little bit more. And he's going to be doing a little bit more in central midfield. So that's why I think in terms of the players, I think Salah is better. The reason we say that now is because Salah plays Southampton next. Those will have seen Palmer captain Southampton and think, oh, I'm never going to captain Palmer again. Or they might think, maybe this Southampton thing's not right. But no, I do think it is. I think so. Chelsea have Aston Villa. Chelsea have Leicester in, say, Game Week 28. And Liverpool have Southampton. So this is really pertinent as well. So we've got these 2 promoted sides they're playing. Which one do we go for? Personally, I can't see past Salah. But I do think Palmer against Leicester could be good as well. Also, he'll definitely play. I think Salah's minutes may be marginally reduced. Depends on how they get on against PSG in the Champions League. But I think there's going to be another debate here. And I think those that will back Salah will think, oh, well, I've got evidence on my side. But I think Palmer's pretty strong still. And let's have a look at some of these stats in detail. Because these are the stats here for Salah and Palmer. And these show that Salah... Yeah, he's been doing great. So he's got 5, he's across these 4 games, he's got 5 goals and an assist, 6 attacking returns. But in terms of his expected goals, it's actually a little bit below Palmer. So expected goals per game, 3.4. So his XG is 3.4. Wow. I think that's in total. Sorry. So that's pretty amazing. But whereas with Palmer, it's 4.23. So it's better. And I looked at some of these other metrics here. When I looked at some of the shots and those types of things, Palmer's actually ahead of Salah here. But you look at this is the bit where it matters, goals and assists. So bear in mind, Salah, 5 goals, 1 assist. Cole Palmer, 1 goal, no assists. So against his promoted sides, he's only got that 1 goal. So people look at that thinking, oh, I'm never going to captain him again. And maybe, but that says to me, luck, variance, all those types of things. That says Palmer's still a good asset. He posted on social media as well, something like 3 points, don't worry, I'll be back next week, or something like that. It's obviously aimed at fantasy managers because, his team won. So, he's happy there. But that specific thing about man. So he's paying attention to this, and obviously Salah's paying attention to all this records and stats that he's breaking almost every week as well. So anyway, that's why I'll do it. I thought it was really pertinent. Next week we've got these 2 big captaincy heavyweights, both playing promoted sides, who, according to the stats, according to our own eyes, are the teams to target. Which one to go for? For me, as I said, is Salah. I think a lot of people will go for. We'll stick with Cole Palmer as well. But I just think looking at those stats, so looking at those defensive stats again of the teams, I think Southampton are in a bit of a league of their own compared to even to Ipswich and Leicester. So are they marginally the worst side, I think, there. So that edges me towards Salah. And also, I really don't like having a player in my team who's like an active spy against me. Now, Palmer was 120% owned, effective ownership. That includes captaincy. So I've got 20% of Palmer against me, was against me in Game Week 27. But Salah was 170% owned. So I had 70% of Salah against me, who's in my team, but not captain. So it's not for me. It's not for me. I might get another red arrow because of that, but that's just the way I like to play it as well. Okay, so I hope that's been some food for thought. I just want to put the fixtures up here. So this is what my fixture plan so far. Now this, I don't think it's going to change drastically, but FA Cup is taking place this weekend, and that will decide. That will help us decide who is doubling in 33, who is like free hit in 34, and whether there might be any doubles even in 36 or even 37. But I will still. I think for me, my chips left. I've got free hit, wildcard, and bench boost. I think the biggest double, which will be 33, whoever's playing, will be best to do it. We have a double in 32 as well, so I can use transfer. So that seems a good time to wildcard, and then my transfers. So we can do it differently this season. So what I can do with transfers, instead of I can carry transfers through a chip as well. So if I've got some transfers held, maybe one or two extra in the bank, I can go into Game Week 32. I can load up on as many Newcastle or Crystal Palace players because they double as I want. I think with Crystal Palace, it really is Mateta I'm interested in. But they've got City and Newcastle away. They're not great fixtures. Whereas Newcastle, Manchester United and Crystal Palace at home. So I've already got Isak, and I'm probably looking to get Gordon and Hall, I think. Would be up, especially for those two games there. So what could happen? What could happen in Game Week 33 is that there's no double for Newcastle or Crystal Palace. So I've got all these Crystal Palace and Newcastle players, but I want to use a bench boost in the biggest double game week. So what do I do? Well, hopefully I've got one or two transfers held back. I can use those to move out some of those Newcastle players. Also, I don't mind playing the odd single game week player. Okay, Isak doesn't have, say Isak doesn't double in game week 33. So they play Aston Villa away. I'm quite happy to have Isak. I mean, imagine it. So, who are you bench boosting? Oh, a double game week goalkeeper, double game week cheap defender, Isak and Salah. So that's a pretty good bench boost. I think they can all do well. So I don't mind that. But if they do double, then that's fine because I'm loaded up on them already. So my plan here, game week 28, I'm looking to hold. I've got no transfers left now, so I've just used 2. But currently, game week 29, I've got 11 players. So I've got the full 11 there. So if I hold in 28, going to 29, I have 2 free transfers. I might even hold because the 11 players I've got, I like. I've got 2 good captaincy shouts. I've got Chris Wood away to Ipswich, targeting those promoted sides again. I've also got Cunha, who I prefer for Wolves. He's away to Southampton, targeting those promoted sides again. There is also Manchester United against Leicester, so that I think Fernandes is a good captaincy shout. I think a lot of people, especially loads of free hitting, will be going for Haaland. That's something you've got to be aware of. There's going to be a lot of love for Man City. I don't think Brighton at home is that easy though. I mean, I'm biased, Brighton fan, but I don't think it is. Leicester away, the promoted side again, game week 30. That's when I'm going to be nervous not having Haaland. But his ownership's not that. Well, his ownership's going to be much bigger by then. Next week, I'm going to be doing a video with Tom Freeman, looking at his team reveal. So next week's be a bit more team reveal-y for game week 28. What he's going to be doing, he's wondering whether to get Haaland in game week 29. Will he be the best one? So he wants to sort of set him up against strikers. For me, I don't actually need Haaland, I don't think then. I mean, could be famous last words. But I think in Cunha away to Southampton, and I think in Chris Wood away to Ipswich, I think I've got really good captain choices there. I'm quite happy with the rest of my 11 as well that week. Game week 28 I think is an okay week to hold. I've got a reasonable pretty good team. I've got Salah, I've got Palmer in place for those promoted sides, so I think Salah will be my captain, but we'll find out a bit more next week. I'll also be back next week with FPL General. Just message him now to see what he wants to talk about there. So we'll be back on Monday. Talk about that once again. We'll be much more focused on game week 28 and looking ahead to those fixtures and beyond. I hope that was of help there. For some people, it might be like, yeah, of course we're going to target the promoted sides, but sometimes it's good to just put those stats behind it. And just sometimes we give ourselves that advice, but we don't follow it, So, we all say, oh, yeah, target Leicester, but do we? So, I put my money where my mouth is last week. with West Ham against Leicester. This week, I'm going to do similar, obviously focusing on captaining Salah against Southampton. And I'm looking to that as well for captaincy decisions in game week 29. And I am worried about Erling Haaland in game week 30, less so in game week 29, though. Okay, hope that was a help. Back next week. Remember to press that like button, does help us out. And also do remember to subscribe. Keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Thanks for your time. Take care. See you soon.